Hey folks, welcome back to another tutorial. Continuing in my castle area. Today we're going to do a stable and a kind of a silo. I guess you can call it kind of a grain silo of sorts. It's a pretty simple tutorial. Really anyone should be able to do it. This step here is optional though. I dug a groove out just to sort of get a look from kind of above for what it's going to look like. Again, following my rule of three. I stick a post, then I have a space by three, then a post, then space by three. So I usually try and keep things odd numbers. You see there it's 4 by 5 posts, as you can see. So I figured probably wouldn't look good square. Just you can put it in any floor you want and use any materials you want too, obviously. Um, so when you want to go back in and make some sort of a door, I actually wanted to make it sort of wide, at least for the sake of getting horses in and out. Of course, you could probably put horses in from some sort of a mod. Same thing with I have a little area here where there's a yard where they can kind of graze. You make that any size you want. So I didn't really have a specific measurement for that. I do kind of throw in some gravel here and there, just sort of randomizing some so the ground looks a little interesting. Throwing a little bit of grass in also. I don't go too crazy with that though, but it's just a little bit here and there, just to give it a little bit of a feel to it. Um, yeah, it's a pretty simple. It's pretty simple to do. Now, as far as lamps go, you could do simple like this, which I do here and there in my world. Or that's actually glowstone, folks. That's not the redstone lamps. I changed the texture, so yeah, I have my own texture pack. And I go in and I adjust some of these things. I just basically took the redstone lamp and put that on the glowstone texture, glowstone block texture. And obviously with the groove, you can fill the groove in, but if you don't put a groove in, you don't have to. Just build right on top of the land. I'm trying to sort of keep it medieval, and keeping some of the common elements from the castle around it, using the stone brick, and also making sure I use a lot of cobble. Not a good idea to do smooth stone in any of this stuff. Plus, you want to sort of like mix stuff in with the wood. Here, I did sort of like decide to do a little bit of a design. I don't really like the gravel texture that they have, the new one. Kind of like the old one. Um, I may actually go back in and replace that at some point, or make my own, since I'm not really happy with it. And again, here, just do some more lamps. Again, whatever way you want. I'm going to go stick with those types. I do sort of stick these kind of partial walls around areas, around roadsides and stuff in my castle world, as you'll see. And this little area here is just sort of an area where you can kind of hitch your horse to a post. As you'll see here, I put little posts up here. So this is good for also just like quickly stopping at the stable or something and dropping your horse off. Also trying to randomize the pattern in the ground, makes it look a little bit better. Interspersing some grass and cobble with it, it looks pretty good. And then you just throw a little bit of here and there just to garnish it with some grass. It's a good idea. But I by no means came up with any of this stuff. This is a pretty common element I've seen in many other people's different videos. So also, since obviously you have animals here, you want to have places where they can drink. Again, any type of wood you want to use. I'm going to use regular colored wood. And yeah, I did change the default glass textures to my own. And these two here are optional. I think it looks nice to actually put some garnishments on the outside though, using those things as sort of like shutters. And now that we have the sideways logs, sometimes you can kind of use those. For this particular build, I wanted to do something where actually the logs stuck out on the end. So we're going more for the for that look. So the roof is going to be a little bit different this time than what we're used to. I decided to change up, do the color completely different, kind of like the cream colored wood. And I decided to wreck the traditional pitch of the roof and change it. As you'll see here, I actually go one block and I stare at a block, and a stare at a block, stare at a block, and I guess that, put a block in at the top. And this time I actually don't have it hanging over. Like in most of my builds I would, and it looks good in most builds, but in this particular one I'm sort of doing something different. So again, those shutters optional. And yeah, you can actually use those gates for windows. It looks kind of nice sometimes. That's basically essentially it from the outside. I think now we'll go in here and do a few more garnishments. Optional, of course. It might just be overkill to some people, but I do like putting in some just random posts and stuff like that. So the ground doesn't look quite so, and the walls don't look quite so flat. And yes, and always remembering some lighting too. Then I liked it. I wanted to do a loft in here, so I used slabs. I did run into a few problems here, but I didn't extend it over the whole roof. I just sort of did a little bit. So obviously, if you can put hay in here or whatever, it's just basically storage or whatever, And it looks good just to have it in there. I tried to make a way I could put that post in there, it just didn't quite work out. So. And I covered it up from below with slabs below, which is actually pretty nice. Then it's just a matter of making the stalls any way you want. I do a couple different styles here. You just do fencing it off if you want, or you can actually do like actual walls like this, and just put some fencing on the top a little bit. Either way, it's good. Or come up with your own design. I'm trying to give them enough room for, obviously, for bringing the horse in and being able to move around a little bit, and putting some water in there for them to drink, with these scattered around here and there. And hopefully in the future they'll give us some option to maybe create our own blocks or something. I'd like to create some sort of a hay block I'd put in here up in the rafter up there, and maybe one in each stall, just to give them something to eat. So that's basically the barn. Here's going to be our silo. Rather simple design, as you'll see. I actually messed it up at first. Yeah. Basically leaving a spacing of 3, as you'll see. But don't do it this way. Actually, I changed it in 1 second. It didn't quite work for me, and so I did it this way on the outside. That's much better. It's just a matter of extending it however high you want. So I just raised all those up. I did make a tragic mistake here where I was too close to my my wall over there. So yeah, I ended up going in with my editor and moving the whole thing a little bit outwards. In a little bit, you'll see. I sort of realize the problem when I get to the roof, and I'm sort of just changing up here, just doing some logs. Go up. What did they go up here? 4 total. Yeah, it looks like 4 total from there. Then changing up the design again, going with the vanilla wood. And then I wanted to change the roof type to another type. So I went with the, I guess what they call that, cedar. I'm assuming it's like the redder wood. And the roof is really the only difficult design. That's why I kind of go over this step by step. But you'll see what I do here. Yeah, so I moved it out. As you can see there, it was too close to the wall. Basically, does not look good when it's rubbing against the walls. And those blocks are being put in there to cover up the stairs so you don't see into it. It wouldn't look right. And it's just a matter of, yeah, put a couple slabs in here. Then it's really just a matter of finding a pattern and going up. I mean, you don't exactly have to follow mine, but it's just sort of how I end up doing it. Just kind of going just like straight up, and then when you don't have an option, you just put a full block in, and then you just cover up the areas you can see in there, with a block, and then you just repeat that. Yeah, I heard that this is actually 1.3.2. I did not upgrade to 1.4.2, which is out now. I did mention that in one of my update videos recently about that because I have some server stuff going on. I'm trying to test out with a friend. So until I see where that pans out, I probably won't be upgrading. Not too many new blocks in the new update that I really need for design purposes anyway. I did finally update my texture pack though, which has been, I hadn't upgraded it since 1.2, so it's actually upgraded now. Yeah, they just top it off here. It's really pretty simple. And you don't want to go too steep with this. You know how I do some of those steep roof? They wouldn't look right with one of the steep roofs, so I just put one of the little spires on it. That's basically it right there. I just throw these on for design. You could actually make a window there, or put a piece of like black wall and put that there so it looks like it's a window. Then again, just my typical garnishments and whatnot. Putting a few little doodads here and there. Linking it to the road. Also, I see a mistake here. I kind of change my dimensions. I also change on the other side too to make sure it's all lined up. I want to make a little path to it. And you don't want to be right up against it, so you want to have like at least one space. So that's sort of what I did. Then I'll show you some pictures here of I basically copied these two. It's like a little bit more elaborate because it was meant for the main castle's keep, so it had to be bigger, more grander, stable and silo. I do have other stables, and I had another silo which is very similar. I just wanted to go a little different with this one. So I'm going to show you now a couple views of it. Just I transplanted it into another area around my environment in my castle world. That's if you want to see the castle world, I do have a current tour going, which I am reviewing it. Check the date on this video, obviously. So there it is, and this is where basically I transplanted it next to an inn, a tavern. If you remember this tavern was also in our main castle, and I basically just transplanted the tavern, the stable, and the silo out to sort of a more rural environment. And I decided to do some more embellishing out here in the land too, as you'll see soon. I'll show you a couple shots of it in a moment. Yeah, I really do hope they would add like horses to the game. I know I can get it from Mo Creatures, that particular mod, but I'm trying to keep this particular world mod free. But I've been thinking lately, as I mentioned in the update video I had recently, about possibly putting some mods in just to get some colored stairs and whatnot. But That's up in the air. I'm still debating that. Just a few panoramic views. I've been working on the coastline there a little bit, pushing things in so it doesn't look quite so messed up. And I'm also utilizing a lot of fields, as you'll see in a minute here. I add these fields in, trying to interconnect everything now. And I think it just looks a lot better with like lots of fields around it. So obviously guests of the tavern would just go and put their horses here for the night, and that is that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on the way out, and I'll catch you with another video soon. Adios.